With Vechain's recent pullback, are you buying the fear? Guys, today we are diving into the world of Vechain and specifically the price action of VET. We're going to see what's been going on most recently and why this might be an interesting time to purchase up some VET. Now, I'm going to get into this in a little bit of detail, so if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then do go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with that said, done out of the way, let's get into this TA video for Vechain. Now, we're going to start with this weekly chart, guys. I really want to kind of highlight what's been going on. I see loads of comments all over the place, basically saying that Vechain doesn't do anything. It's just kind of, going down. Price does nothing but falling. So I wanted to really start with this weekly chart to kind of highlight where we have been and where we are going, because I know sometimes we can get too focused in on the smaller time frames and not enough time is spent actually appreciating where the journey that we've taken so far and where we are going, and ultimately the kind of gains that we've seen so far. So I really want to start things off by talking about March 2020. This is a low point for many many altcoins in the space, and pretty much the low for the bear market on many. Now this is where really we started a good push to the upside here for Vechain. We saw wave one kind of peaking out in August of 2020. New all-time highs were being set at that point in time. We then saw a correction wave. This was the first opportunity to buy up some fear that was for sale. This actually took us down some pretty reasonably low areas of about 0.008. Okay, so reasonably low kind of price expectations, and you could have bought up Vechain for less than 1 cent. This is the area that I think a lot of my accumulation was happening. Chris was much earlier than me down in wave one, for example, but I got really heavy into Vechain around wave two. Then we rode up into wave three. Wave three kind of peaked out up in April of 2021. Okay, so again, we've gone from March 2020 through to April 2021, 399 days, but it saw 18,295% in gains. An example of that in relation to other cryptocurrencies, if we throw Bitcoin up here, for example, and we grab Bitcoins from the bottom of March through to where it was, where is that? Is that April? Yeah, April here. It gained 1,600%. So if your money was actually in Bitcoin, you earned yourself significantly less than you would have done if you were in Vechain, for example. Okay, so Vechain has performed incredibly well. The same with Harmony One as well. Ultimately, it's not about the dollar value of a cryptocurrency asset. It's the percentage yield that you are earning whilst you're in that currency. So if you were in Bitcoin from March of 2020 all the way up to, say, April of 2021, you've earned less money than if your money was sat in Vechain during that same period. Pretty standard math, pretty easy to get. And I just want to highlight that 18,000% is a very large number in such a short space of time. This is only really coupled with a couple of other altcoins that we are invested in. We have Anchor at over 30,000%, and we have Matic at over 42,000%. Otherwise, Harmony One's 18,000%. And to put it into context with other cryptocurrencies like eGold, that was only 4,000%. Okay, so this is a significant push to the upside, and obviously we did see a nice correction to the fourth wave, and this took a lot of people by surprise, specifically if they are investing up in April, right, at these higher points for Vechain. And this is where you get that kind of comment where it doesn't do anything, it's just trading sideways, or it's just going down in value, and that's because you are buying at the higher 3 and you're then selling down here at the lower 4, for example, because you're frustrated. Now this is not a space where you're going to see money roll in super quick, right? It's quicker than a bank would ever give you money, right? There's no bank that's going to give you 18,000% in 1 year. But it is obviously going to be something that you have to be patient with it, right? It's one of those it's a space where there is volatility. It's the volatility that makes you significant, percentage yields, but also you have to curb your emotions. You don't want to be acting emotionally, and when you do see these kind of pullbacks like this, it's important that you zoom out and you stay away from those smaller time frames if you're more emotional about it, and actually you start to think about where we are going. So for Vechain here, we do have that dollar level all scoped out, and that would be a part of our fifth wave, because there was one wave here, 2 waves was the second correction, wave 3 was the push push to the upside, the fourth wave correction we've seen, and now we are getting ready to go to that fifth wave. And that fifth wave for Vechain is a very significant $1 threshold. Now, I know a lot of people in the space will say, but it can't go that high because it's got too many coins. Do you know what the market cap would be for it to do that? And yes, I do know what the market cap would be, but do you know that market capitalization is no barrier to price discovery? Do you know that market capitalization is nothing more than a simple calculation of the last sold price multiplied by the circulating supply? And it's important that you understand this because it is not representing the value of a cryptocurrency. It is not representing the amount of money that's gone into the project, and it is not representing any barrier to stop you from accumulating or to stop you Vechain from actually reaching those higher values. Market capitalization doesn't do much in the way of helping you understand the underlying value. It does nothing more than give you the idea or a notion of price overall. And a good example of this is I bought Vechain at less than 1 cent. Today it is over 11 cents. Okay, the market capitalization assumes that my Vechain bag was also valued at 11 cents, which isn't true because obviously I didn't buy it at 11 cents. So therefore, the market capitalization is very, very wrong in that regard, right? It's a very basic calculation designed nothing more than to kind of give you a notional value of where cryptocurrencies should be paired or should be kind of ranked, but not very good at actually delivering the underlying value of a cryptocurrency, and not very good at helping you understand that actually market capitalization is nothing more than a very simple calculation that means very little to the space. So best not to lean on that. And specifically when we talk about price discovery or price predictions, market cap is not going to help you there. Market cap is going to give you an idea that actually, you know, they kind of rank them this way based on their, tokenomics, i.e. there's less coins in the case of Ethereum. And pretty much that's the only reason that it's ranked up there, right? There's less coins, therefore the price is up because it's more scarce. Okay. And that's all that market cap is allowing you to do. Okay, now the real reason or the real way that you see price discovery is twofold. You need to see a squeeze on the supply, and Vechain has a really interesting approach to that. And of course, the second thing is demand, right? So increase the demand on a squeezed supply, you're going to see significant price increases. Now, in the case of Vechain, it's a dual token system. We have VET, which is what we're talking about here, and V4, which is obviously the gas token, which is used to pay for transactions. Now, when we compare Ethereum to Vechain, for example, Ethereum has only one coin, right? It's basically ETH, and ETH can be used as a store of value and as the token that is used for transactions, right? Ethereum is required for both scenarios, therefore it gets pushed up significantly, but it has a problem. And the main reason why dApps hate Ethereum so much and why they're so excited about other ecosystems like Polkadot, Algorand, Solana, Cardano, Vechain is because costs become predictable, which they are not when it comes to Ethereum. You love it or hate it. It has a lot of dApps built on it because there was nothing else at the time to actually build on. But now there are ecosystems that are faster, cheaper, and more secure than Ethereum. And for me, I think Ethereum is going to struggle significantly. It has been lagging behind, and the only people who are really big on Ethereum right now are the maximalists, right? If you actually break it down from a business point of view, it makes very little business sense to build on the Ethereum ecosystem than something else like Solana, Polkadot, Algorand, Cardano. The list kind of goes on and on. But in the case of Vechain here, with that dual token system, it has a store of value. That store of value is VET, and it has a gas token that is the V4, right? This makes it more predictable on the cost side of things. And for those who do not know, Vechain is a smart contract platform and has been designed for enterprises. This is why you see places like Walmart, China, H&M, BMW, Renault, Known Seafood, H&M, governments partnering up with Vechain because the ecosystem is designed in such a way that it actually is designed for the people who use it, right? It's not designed to just make ETH holders richer, for example, or ETH miners richer. It is actually designed to serve a purpose, which is why Vechain is, of course, the only 5-star blockchain service provider in the world, right? And that's actually very, very powerful when it comes to enterprise level adoption. And on that note, one of the real reasons that you're going to see a significant push in the coming years for Vechain is that enterprises are incentivized to hodl VET, i.e. buy VET, hold it, don't sell it, keep it off chain, put it into a specific wallet called Sync, and you'll earn V4. Okay, so if an enterprise holds several million VET, they'll earn a significant portion of V4 that they can then use that V4 to use for their on-chain requirements, okay? And that's a big thing to remember because V4 is the gas fee, okay? So basically they can invest in Vechain or VET, hold it, don't sell it, just hold it, and they'll earn all of the gas tokens required to actually facilitate their needs, making it pretty much cost neutral or most cost efficient way of running their business on a blockchain technology. Unlike Ethereum, which obviously would require you to consistently buy Ethereum and pay ridiculously high gas fees, right? So it's not a good business model, Ethereum, but Vechain's a very good business model. So you're going to start seeing a huge widespread adoption in the coming years for Vechain. I mean, it's already pretty significant already, right? You've got DNVGL, a truly worldwide company, PwC, for example, absolutely massive. And all of their clients, if they are going to use blockchain technology, they will use Vechain, okay? So Vechain's going to explode in the future. I'm very, very confident of this. And obviously, I'm not a financial advisor. Chris is not a financial advisor. And so do your own research. But when we talk about the tokenomics and we talk about price discovery, we talk about Vechain going to $1, you have to consider what this technology is actually enabling and why it is going to get up to those higher thresholds, right? So understand that market cap is not going to stop you. The only thing that's going to stop you from actually reaching those heights is going to be whether or not we have sufficient adoption of the cryptocurrency and whether or not that a significant portion of VET is actually going to be taken out of circulating supply. Not that you'll ever find those metrics easily via something like CoinMarketCap, okay? So in terms of reaching that dollar level, yes, I think that's very achievable. I think that Vechain should be a top 10 cryptocurrency if you're actually to utilize the underlying value or data that sits and defines the value of a cryptocurrency rather than just market capitalization. I think in time, market capitalization will be representing a decent amount with Vechain, and Vechain should firmly be up there as one of the greatest blockchain projects in the world, in my opinion. It is doing a lot for the space, and there's just really an unparalleled amount of real-world use cases going on here for Vechain when you compare it to so many other ecosystems. So with that being said, I just really wanted to kind of highlight $1 is very, very possible. And if you think otherwise, you maybe need to do a tad bit more research and to figuring out why so many people are calling out this area here for Vechain. Now, on this weekly chart, the other thing we should just talk about is how we were overbought. We've just had a dip back down, and this is actually perfectly good because we can be up here for several months, and that's going to be where we actually start to see this good rise up for Vechain. So overall, here is the third wave. We can see there was a couple of dips in the middle here, and again, that is a perfectly natural kind of pullbacks that you saw just here and over here. And here as well, right? Nothing moves up in straight lines. Instead, you saw these nice kind of sideways trades, these correction moves that allowed us to peak out up here for Vechain. Now, Vechain actually got up to 27.9 cent. So again, pushing from here to here is actually a really easy stretch for Vechain and during that kind of FOMO last stretch of the bull run. Overall, no problems there. When we actually jump down into our daily, this is where we can start to see the more recent kind of price action. This is the yellow box area that we are targeting. But to be fair, I am actually going to move this up now because I think it's going to be easier and better if we only focus in on the main area that we want to be focused on. And I'm going to just grab hold of this fib as well and just move that this way over here. There we go. Okay, so overall we have a pretty good kind of pullback. Bitcoin did obviously pull us down into the interesting zone just down here. This is where I could kind of say that there's an interesting kind of accumulation just at the bottom here if we were to get to there. Now, Vechain did pull back 36%, and obviously moving sideways across here, we're actually starting to line up quite nicely. We're finding good support on the 11.1 cent support line. This previously is an area that we consolidated on. We found a lot of resistance and support on this line. So it doesn't surprise me that this is also where we are finding the support right now. Okay, so things are lining up. We are oversold on our daily chart here, so loads of room to grow to the upside now on the daily, which is fantastic to see. This is kind of puts us in the same kind of territory as we were down here. and also as we were down at the bottom here as well. So overall, we got a good amount of growth now in our stochastic RSI, and we did come down into this area briefly for a bit of accumulation, and hopefully we'll start seeing a good push to the upside. Now, I can appreciate that this seems quite frustrating. People saying that Vechain does nothing but go down. It all depends on your perspective of when you bought, etc. Obviously, the fourth wave has been troubling for some, ultimately if you're buying higher. But if you're able to manage those emotions, keep them in check, we should be able to kind of come out of the other side of this in a really strong way. And then we'll start seeing a good positive kind of motion to the upside once we get past that 786 area here. So we are looking for a close candle above 23.1. This is something that's just happened with Harmony, getting that weekly close candle up there. Obviously for Vechain, this has quite a bit of work to do before we get up there, but I do feel it is just around the corner and we are working our way up slowly. As we go down into the next level, the hourly, this is where we can start to see what's been going on, right? The sideways trading here, the kind of pushing up and down, really finding the support lines. We oversold again. So for the short term, we are looking for a push up. On the medium term, we're looking for a push up, and of course on the weekly, we are also looking to pull up. So overall, no matter what time frame we're looking at here, be that the weekly, the daily, or the hourly, things are looking like they are going to be pushing up to the upside soon. Really hard to say timing wise, but it does look like the next 24 hours should be pretty good for Vechain. And again, we've got to be finding some resistance just up here at these upper areas. So it's going to take a little bit of time to just work our way through. But again, once we do, then I think we're going to be off to the races. We'll be taking out some of these key areas on our journey up to our 786 area on the chart. Now, we are going to, of course, go back over to the advice dashboard just to see if there are any issues with the underlying data for Vechain. Should there be anything that we're concerned about? This updated a few hours ago. So for Vechain, it's got an overall B1 rating. So overall, that's actually dropped down in the last few days, but hasn't changed in the last 24 hours. And the main issue that we have here is the fear. There's a bit of fear in the market for Vechain. It's actually dropped down to a C2 rating, right? I don't want to say extremely fearful, but it's very fearful, okay? So some fear here, and that's what is usually up for sale, right? Specifically when you're in a bull run like this and you're in a fifth wave, there's fear for sale. That's the kind of fear you buy. So that's an interesting tell. And obviously we have the 𝗕𝗓 ratio and A2 rating. We have the Sharpe ratio still above the 50-day average at a B2 rating. The profitability is still up there as an A1, obviously, because 18,000% is going to be hard to beat. And so when we take a look down here and we say there's fear in the market, then these are the dips that we want to be buying up, right? This particular area here, this dip here, and so forth. Now, we can, of course, go a little bit further and actually say, okay, if we have another pullback, where do we want to be buying up some Vechain, right? And for example, we might say that that's an interesting zone, right? We wick down to as low as that area there. So maybe we should go down to that wick low here as well, and say that if we do enter this area, then actually that might be a place to be buying up a decent position. So I'll be paying attention to that. Anything lower than 11.1 seems interesting to me. This would be my area for buying. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor, so make sure you do your own research, but that would be where I would be focusing in on things for Vechain here. But overall, I am confident. I always zoom out, take a look at the weekly. This is where we see the bigger structure. We don't have to worry too much about what is going on with all of those other kind of smaller time frames when we have a good kind of idea as to how things are going with our weekly. Overall, we've got 800% more gains to be had here for Vechain as we push up to the upside and finish this bull run. I know it can be frustrating, but things on Vechain are finally looking like they are lining up nicely. A little bit of volatility here and there, but overall, performing very, very well. Guys, if you have found this brief update on Vechain useful and informative, then do go ahead and hit the like button. I really appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.